Gmat. Our problem under consideration is problem number 113 in the critical reasoning part in OG13. First, we have the argument, which is followed by the question stem. So first, let's read the argument and try and understand it, and then we'll try to understand the question stem. The average hourly wage of television assemblers in Vermland has long been significantly lower than in neighboring Borodia. Since Borodia dropped all tariffs on Vermlandian televisions 3 years ago, the number of televisions sold annually in Borodia has not changed. However, recent statistics shows a drop in the number of television assemblers in Borodia. Therefore, updated trade statistics will probably indicate that the number of televisions Borodia imports from Vermland has increased. Now, first let's have a look at the question stem. It states that which of the following is an assumption on which the argument depends. What does this mean? It means that we need to find a statement that links the premise and the conclusion and fills the logical gap between them. So we are looking for an assumption which uh, carries out the above stated purpose. Let's try and understand the meaning of the argument. The argument first states that the average hourly wage in Burnland is less than it is in Borodia. Then it goes on to state that 3 years back, the tariff on Vermlandian TVs sold in Borodia had been dropped. So that restriction as to the Vermlandian TVs had been removed 3 years back. So now the conditions are conducive for sales of Vermlandian TVs. And then it states that recently there has been a reduction in the number of TV assemblers in Borodia. So if there is a reduction in the number of TV assemblers in Borodia, probably there would be an extra need for TVs in Barodia. So this could be one of the indicators. So finally, the author goes on to say that the number of TVs from Vermland, to Barodia must have increased. So this is his conclusion. So let's try and see how we would approach this assumption problem. We would identify the related and the independent facts stated. We would try and create a logical structure. Then we would try and pre-think the possible assumptions that fills the logical gap between the premise and the conclusion. And finally, we would then reach the correct answer. So let's draw a logical structure as we already understood the meaning. So the logical structure is that hourly wage in Vermland is less than that it is in Borodia. Another independent fact stated is that Borodia has dropped all tariff on Vermland TVs, and the third independent fact stated is that recent data shows a drop in the number of TV assemblers in Borodia, and all this help lead to a conclusion that import of TVs from Vermland must have increased. So, what could be the possible reasons for the author to say this? Uh, uh, a few possible assumptions that I could think of is that no other cost involved on TVs which make Vermlandian TVs more expensive. So there are no other expenses that are involved added onto Vermlandian TVs that are sold in Barodia, which would make them expensive. Because if this happens, then definitely the import would not increase. And the other possible assumption that I can think of is that the time for assembling TVs in Borodia has not reduced significantly. Because if that happens, even if the number of assemblers have reduced, they can still make up for the demand of TVs in Borodia. So, and they can assemble many more TVs than actually needed. So this would again shatter the conclusion which states that import from Vermland has to increase. So these are the two possible assumptions that we have pre-thought of. Now let's go to the answer choices and see what the answers are. The number of TV assemblers in Vermland has increased by at least as much as the number of television assemblers in Borodia has decreased. Now, nowhere in the argument has it been stated that there should be an equal increase, and neither does it has it been that has it been indicated by the arguments put together. And even if the number of assemblers in Borodia reduced and is increased by an equal amount in Vermland, it nowhere can be said for sure that the import from Vermland will increase as a result of it. So this is wrong. And then we come to option 2. The television assembler assembled in one land have features that television assembled in Barodia do not have. Let's negate it and see what it becomes. Television assembled in one land have not got features that have features that television assemblers in Barodias also have. So even if we negate it, there is absolutely no effect. The conclusion has not an iota of we do not have an iota of doubt on the conclusion if we negate it. So this is absolutely not the right answer. We go to option 3. The average number of hours it takes a Burundian television assembler to assemble a television has not decreased significantly during the past 3 years. Now let's negate it and see. The average number of hours it takes Burundian television assembler to assemble television has decreased significantly over the past 3 years. Now, if we negate it, it clearly puts a doubt over the conclusion that is stated, which means that says that the import from one land has to increase. Now, if the time taken for assembling TV has reduced very highly, then what would be the need to import TVs from one land? So this clearly puts a doubt. So this is the right answer. And then we go to option 4. The number of televisions assembled annually in one land has increased significantly during the past 3 years. Now, even if let's negate it and see what comes. The number of television assembled annually in one land has decrease has not increased significantly since the past 3 years. Now, even if you negate it, the conclusion that the imports must have increased from one land is nowhere affected. So this is not the right answer. Option 5 is the difference between the hourly wage of television assemblers in one land and the hourly wage of television assemblers in Barodia is likely to decrease in the next five years. Now, uh, even if the difference does not decrease, I mean, I don't see any reason why the imports from one land has to increase. So this is also not the right answer. Thank you.